Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Mason. We're glad you're joining us today. We're going to dive into a topic that can be pretty stressful: missing deadlines.
That's right. Whether it's a work project, an assignment, or even something personal, missing a deadline can cause a lot of anxiety. We'll explore how to handle these situations, what it feels like, and how to communicate effectively when things go wrong.
Exactly. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's start with our vocabulary preview. This will help you understand the key phrases and terms we'll use in our conversation.
Vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
That's right, vocabulary preview.
First up, we have the term deadline. A deadline is a specific time or date by which something needs to be completed. For example, if your report is due by Friday, Friday is the deadline.
Next, let's talk about procrastination. Procrastination means delaying or putting off tasks that need to be done. If you keep postponing your work, you're procrastinating.
Perfect. Keep these words in mind as we talk about dealing with missed deadlines. Now, let's get into our discussion.
And finally, we have consequence. A consequence is the result or effect of something you did or didn't do if you miss a deadline. The consequence might be having to work extra hours or facing criticism.
Oh, I've definitely been there. It's a horrible feeling. What happened with your project?
Mason, have you ever missed a deadline? It's such a stressful experience. I remember last year. I had a big project due for work, and I just didn't manage my time well.
That sounds really tough. Did you ask for an extension?
Well, I had planned to finish it a week before the deadline, but I kept getting distracted. I thought I had plenty of time, but suddenly, the deadline was just a day away, and I wasn't even close to finishing.
That sounds stressful. How did you handle it?
I did, but it was too late. I ended up staying up all night to finish it the next day. I had to explain to my boss why it was late. It was not a pleasant conversation.
Being honest is definitely important. I think one of the hardest parts about missing a deadline is dealing with the consequences. It's not just about the missed work. It's also about how others react.
I had to be honest and explain what happened. I talked about how I mismanaged my time and how I plan to avoid this in the future. Fortunately, my boss was understanding. But it was a wake-up call for me.
Exactly. And I think dealing with missed deadlines involves a few key steps. First, you need to acknowledge what went wrong. Like, if you were procrastinating, it's important to recognize that.
Yes, the consequences can be more than just having to redo the work. Sometimes it affects your reputation and how people perceive your reliability.
Well, for me, it's often about balancing multiple tasks. I sometimes take on too much and then struggle to manage everything. How about you? What was your biggest distraction?
Yes, self-reflection is crucial. Understanding why you missed the deadline can help you make better plans in the future. Were there any specific reasons for your procrastination?
Totally. Social media can be a major distraction. Setting boundaries for yourself, like turning off notifications or using productivity apps, can really help.
For me, it was definitely social media. I kept telling myself I'd work after just one more post or video. And it added up. It's so easy to get sidetracked.
Absolutely. Unexpected issues can definitely throw off your schedule. That's why it's important to build in some buffer time when you're planning.
Yes, I've started doing that. It's helped me focus better and manage my time more effectively. But sometimes, even with good planning, unexpected things can come up.
And communicating early is key. If you know you're going to miss a deadline, it's better to inform the people involved as soon as possible.
Yes, having some extra time can make a big difference. It helps to reduce stress and gives you a cushion if something goes wrong.
Exactly. And it shows that you're taking responsibility and trying to solve the problem, which is always appreciated.
Definitely, early communication can help manage expectations and might even give you a chance to negotiate an extension or adjust the deadline.
Well said. And to all our listeners, remember that everyone misses deadlines sometimes. What's important is how you handle it and what you learn from it.
Absolutely. It's all about finding a balance and learning from the experience. It can be tough, but it's also a chance to grow and improve.
Wow, we've covered a lot already. We've got so much more to explore about handling deadlines and the strategies for staying on track. Now, we're going to focus on strategies to avoid procrastination and manage your time more effectively.
Exactly. Mistakes happen, but with the right approach, you can turn a missed deadline into a valuable lesson.
One of the key strategies is setting clear goals. If you break your tasks into smaller, manageable goals, it can make them seem less overwhelming. For example, if you have a big project, set daily or weekly milestones.
That's right. We'll talk about practical tips and tricks to help you stay on track and make the most of your time. So, Mason, let's dive into this. What's one of the most effective ways to avoid procrastination?
Absolutely. Creating a to-do list or using a planner can help you organize your tasks. It's satisfying to check off items as you complete them, and it helps you keep track of what's left.
That makes sense. When you have a clear goal, it's easier to focus on what needs to be done next. And I think having a detailed plan can also be really helpful.
Interesting. So, you're talking about self-imposed deadlines?
I totally agree. I've found that using a planner helps me stay organized. And another thing that helps is setting deadlines for each task, even if they're not official deadlines.
Distractions can be a big problem. One effective strategy is to create a dedicated workspace. Make sure it's a place where you can focus and is free from distractions. And if possible, set specific work hours.
Exactly. If you set a deadline for yourself, it creates a sense of urgency. It's like a mini deadline that helps you stay focused. But what about dealing with distractions?
Great tips. Another technique is the Pomodoro technique. It involves working in short, focused bursts, usually 25 minutes, followed by a short break. It helps maintain concentration and prevents burnout.
Yes, having a designated workspace really helps. It signals to your brain that it's time to work. And turning off notifications on your phone or using apps that block distracting websites can also be beneficial.
That's a good question. One approach is to use the 5-minute rule. If you start a task and commit to working on it for just 5 minutes, you might find it easier to continue. Often, starting is the hardest part.
I've heard of that method before. It's a great way to stay productive and avoid fatigue. How about dealing with tasks that you find particularly challenging or uninteresting?
Definitely. For example, you could reward yourself with something you like after completing a challenging task. It's a way to stay motivated and make the work more enjoyable.
That's a clever approach. Once you get started, you often find it easier to keep going. And sometimes, combining tasks you enjoy with those you don't can make the process more bearable.
Absolutely. Regular reflection helps you stay on track and make necessary adjustments. It's also important to be kind to yourself. Everyone has off days, and it's okay to acknowledge that.
Rewards can be a great motivator, and it's also helpful to regularly review your progress. Checking in on your goals and reflecting on what's working or not can help you adjust your strategy.
Well said. And speaking of progress, another useful strategy is to find an accountability partner. Someone who can check in with you and provide support can help you stay motivated.
Exactly. Beating yourself up over missed deadlines won't help. Instead, focus on learning from the experience and making improvements. It's all about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And sometimes, just talking about your goals and challenges can provide clarity and new perspectives. It's a great way to get feedback and encouragement.
That's a great idea. Having someone to share your goals with and who holds you accountable can make a big difference. It's like having a buddy system for your tasks.
Yes, Self-care is often overlooked but essential. Make sure to schedule time for relaxation and activities you enjoy. It helps keep your mind fresh and ready to tackle tasks.
Definitely. And before we wrap up this section, let's touch on the importance of self-care. Managing stress and taking breaks is crucial for maintaining productivity.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from setting clear goals to using productivity techniques and taking care of yourself. There are many ways to improve your time management.
Absolutely. Taking care of yourself means you'll be more effective and focused when you do work. It's all about balance.
Now, we'll focus on practical strategies for improvement and how to move forward after a missed deadline.
Yes.
Absolutely. One of the first things we can do is evaluate our time management skills. Often, missing a deadline is a result of poor planning or unrealistic scheduling.
We've already discussed the impact of missing deadlines and how to handle the immediate aftermath. Now, let's dive into some effective strategies to help avoid similar situations in the future and improve our overall approach.
Well, one effective strategy is to use a detailed calendar or planner. By breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps and setting deadlines for each step, you can keep track of your progress more easily.
Right, and improving time management can make a huge difference. What are some practical steps someone can take to better manage their time?
Exactly. Using a priority matrix, like the Eisenhower matrix, can help you categorize tasks into 4 areas: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important.
That's a great point. And another technique is to prioritize tasks based on their importance and deadlines. It's important to focus on high-priority tasks first and then move on to less critical ones.
Yes, technology can be a great ally, but beyond just managing time, what about dealing with unexpected obstacles that might cause delays?
That's a useful tool. And for those who prefer digital solutions, there are many apps and tools available that can help with time management and task tracking. For example, apps like Trello or Asana can help organize tasks and set reminders.
Absolutely. And when these unexpected obstacles do come up, it's crucial to communicate promptly. Informing stakeholders or team members about potential delays as soon as possible can help manage expectations and reduce stress.
Good question. It's important to build some flexibility into your schedule. Unexpected issues can arise, and having a buffer period can help you adjust without causing too much disruption.
Exactly. It's important to be honest about what can be achieved within a given time frame. Setting realistic and achievable goals can help prevent situations where deadlines are missed.
Communication is key. And let's not forget the importance of setting realistic goals. Sometimes we set deadlines that are too ambitious and end up setting ourselves up for failure.
Definitely. And don't forget about self-care. Managing stress and maintaining a healthy work-life balance are essential. When you're well rested and relaxed, you're more likely to stay focused and meet your deadlines.
Another important strategy is to review and learn from past experiences. Reflecting on why a deadline was missed and identifying what could have been done differently can provide valuable insights.
Well said, Sophia. And one last point, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Sometimes, collaborating with others or seeking advice can provide new solutions and perspectives.
And it's also important to establish a support system. Whether it's colleagues, mentors, or friends, having people you can rely on for advice and support can make a big difference.
Exactly. Now, we'll focus on how to move forward constructively and apply the lessons we've learned.
Absolutely. Incorporating regular breaks, exercise, and hobbies into your routine can help keep you energized and motivated, and sometimes just stepping away from a task for a short time can give you a fresh perspective.
One of the key aspects of moving forward is setting up a system for continuous improvement. This means regularly reviewing your processes and making adjustments as needed.
Great advice, Mason. It's all about using the resources and strategies available to you and continuously improving your approach. By applying these techniques, you can enhance your time management skills and reduce the likelihood of missing deadlines in the future.
Right. And implementing a post-mortem or retrospective meeting can be very beneficial. This is where you gather your team, discuss what happened, and identify areas for improvement.
Exactly. It's one thing to discuss strategies and solutions, but it's another to actively apply them and make lasting improvements. So, let's start with how to use what we've learned to prevent future issues.
Absolutely. Regular check-ins not only help monitor progress, but also keep communication open. It's a chance to address any issues before they become major problems.
Yes, it's like creating a feedback loop. By regularly assessing what works and what doesn't, you can fine-tune your approach. For example, after completing a project, take some time to reflect on what went well and what could be improved.
Exactly. It's also helpful to set up reminders and use project management tools to stay organized. There are so many apps available that can assist with task management and deadline tracking.
That's a great idea. And speaking of team meetings, how about setting up regular check-ins or progress updates? These can help keep everyone on track and provide early warnings if there are potential delays.
Delegation is crucial. It's important to recognize that you don't have to do everything yourself. Trusting others with responsibilities not only helps you manage your workload, but also fosters teamwork.
Communication really is key. And in addition to that, creating a detailed plan with clear milestones can also help. By breaking down a project into smaller, manageable tasks, you can more easily track progress and make adjustments as needed.
Great point. And let's not forget about self-care. Managing stress and maintaining a healthy balance between work and personal life is essential. When you're well rested and focused, you're more likely to meet your deadlines.
True. And another important aspect is managing your workload effectively. Learning to say no or delegate tasks can prevent you from becoming overwhelmed and missing deadlines.
And if you do find yourself in a situation where a deadline is at risk, don't hesitate to seek support. Whether it's asking for an extension, getting help from colleagues, or discussing the issue with your supervisor, being proactive can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And as you delegate, make sure to provide clear instructions and set expectations. This will help ensure that tasks are completed correctly and on time.
And remember, missing a deadline is not the end of the world. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. By applying the strategies and insights we've discussed, you can improve your time management skills and reduce the likelihood of future delays.
Yes, taking care of yourself helps improve productivity and overall well-being. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, and downtime can make a big difference.
And that's a wrap for today's podcast. We hope you found these insights useful and that they will help you manage your deadlines more effectively in the future.
Exactly. It's important to address problems as soon as they arise and communicate openly. This can help prevent misunderstandings and find solutions more quickly.
Take care and good luck with all your projects. Until next time.
Absolutely. Each challenge is a chance to develop and refine your skills. With the right approach and mindset, you can turn setbacks into valuable learning experiences. Thank you all for joining us throughout this series. We look forward to exploring more topics with you in our next episodes. Goodbye, everyone.